How you doing? Welcome. I guess we'll do it. I don't know. I don't even know what we should call this now, but welcome to another episode here, right?
Yeah,
we
yeah.
don't really have a name, but I'm Stephen Mitz. This is Brendon Walker. What are we covering today?
Oh, I don't know, man. We could cover a lot of things. We could jump back into AI, which we've done at least 3-4 times now.
Even if we didn't want to, we keep going back there.
It's a hot topic. Like we talked about, it's a golden age. I
do have one AI topic we can talk about, but we don't have to jump straight into it. Is there anything more pressing that you wanted to talk about?
The only one that I know of that's very interesting, and we touched upon it before, was quantum computing in the past. Microsoft just came out with their quantum chip, and it's like this big.
Yeah.
We haven't. That's not been done before. Usually, quantum machines are this massive powers, and they basically were able to do a full. They just announced it like just yesterday. This new quantum chip that can do millions of quantum compute, like they call them qubits. That's just like quantum like compute power.
Yeah.
Just to give you an idea, that is like more processing power than every single computer in the world combined.
Wow. So I'm assuming that text I sent you the other day is based on that, using that chip to power that. What's that?
Did you send me that?
No, I sent you online. I sent you a text about the AI research assistant that they're launching.
Yes.
Is that based on using this chip?
No, it's not.
Okay.
No. Totally different.
Because you need a lot more power to do that type of.
Yeah. So no, I imagine AI and quantum have a really good area where they could like meet together, because AI takes a lot of computing, especially generative AI, where it's like it's thinking on the spot, right? And quantum computing is about being able to take two paths at the exact same time. So, doubling for each processing. But the thing is, for each qubit is basically a new machine, a new processing machine that the chip uses. Whereas today we have like, you've heard of like 4-core processing chips, right? Well, that means it's like we have 4 mini computers working on our single computer. Well, when we're talking about qubits, currently today, the highest number of qubits is in like the low teens, or like, sorry, not teens, like teen thousands. So it's like 13, 14,000, somewhere out there is like where we are for qubits, which means on a single chip, we can run 1,400 computers on a small chip. Like that's basically what that means. But double that, because it can do in both directions. So think of it more like, 3,800 or even greater, probably.
The first thing that comes to my mind when you say that.
What?
Have you seen on social media when they take 2 cell phones and they call 2 Chinese restaurants and they put them next to each other?
Yep. I've seen that.
What's coming to mind is like we can start to have these robot wars with these
that's exactly it. And so they're still being used in those like larger towers for like different cooling needs and things like that. But Microsoft just came out with the smallest one, and it's very interesting, like, because all the other ones are like this big and stuff, whereas they got it down to about like that big. And so it's just a completely different world. And the fact that they say it actually can handle more qubits than anything else on the market today. That's the other thing that's big.
I think the convergence of that, we can't really contemplate what's going to be capable. And I think that's a good segue into the topic that I had actually thought of, which was, so you and I have for several months now. I mean, if we just sat here for 10 minutes and named all the AI companies that we could think of, not that exist, but the opportunities that there are, we could come up with probably 5, 10, 20 pretty good like company ideas in about 10 minutes right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to speak for myself with this next statement. You may or may not agree. The main reason I haven't pursued any of those companies is because it would take longer to launch those companies than for them to become obsolete, in my opinion. The pace of AI and the pace of the usability and the use cases for AI is, in my opinion, faster than anything we've seen previously, including the .com bubble, including the app store. When there was 100 apps launched in 90 days, or whatever crazy thing it was. Like, we're seeing thousands of companies pop up every single day right now, and I don't know how it's possible or going to be possible unless you have, I don't know how many hundreds of millions of dollars just to market your tool, that you're going to be able to become a unicorn.
So I disagree in a sense. So I agree that if you are trying to solve a specific problem, like I'm just going to pick out one that I know that's like kind of funny. It's called Riz AI, right? It's AI for like picking up chicks, right? It's like, oh, take a picture of this girl and we'll give you a good pickup line, right?
Sure.
So that's all it is. It's very, very simple. It's a simple problem, right?
Right.
That will get outdated very, very quickly. The ones where the AI companies that are coming out that are attaching and augmenting existing systems, so like doing AI with middleware, doing AI with
so glad you said that. My point is that OpenAI will come up with a release like they've already done 3 times in the last 45 days that then wipes out half of those companies. Operator, for instance, Operator is going to wipe out half of those companies that you just alluded to,
because those solve specific individual tasks. They don't solve the connections between systems. Like,
but OpenAI is going to have that themselves. That's how they're going to keep their customers sticky.
I don't think so. A lot of the times competitors don't care about how they work with other systems unless it's the reason why they're able to sell. OpenAI doesn't have that problem. They technically can be run on anything, but integrating AI systems to work together will be a little bit more difficult and challenging because there's going to be so many different ones on the market. And
I have one response: Google.
What do you mean?
OpenAI is Google, except times 10. It's an order of magnitude richer.
And Google has middleware systems that they have to do the same stuff with. They have to integrate with other systems that exist today, like existing infrastructures. They have to work with those.
You have to be solved, but all of the things that use Google, aka brands, companies, websites, right? They all have to have their own value proposition, and there's billions of companies and brands, right? And my point is, there's going to be billions of AI implementations, tools, and use cases. If I'm right now, my premise was, right, we come up with 10 companies off the top of our dome, and we say, okay, these are all good value proposition. They would solve a problem. They would be helpful to a customer or a set of customers. How do you get enough customers to know about you compared to the other 30 other? Because these are essentially vaporware, right? Like these are a pretty lipstick on OpenAI's back end. You're basically just putting a costume on something. Like, anytime you're just putting a costume on somebody else's product, you're not really giving that much value. And so what my point is, all that OpenAI has to do is incorporate your costume into their wardrobe, and now the customer of OpenAI, like, I don't know if last time you like went to OpenAI, but like it's starting to look like the App Store. Like, look at, there's like all these GPTs, there's all these plugins. They've already integrated in with Canva. They've already integrated in with DALL-E. If you just go back and look at all of the crazy AI companies that launched every 30 days over the past 6 months, like the first wave of them was for, okay, we're going to take OpenAI and we're going to implement it with all the open source imagery that's out there and make it a way to do crude AI image reconstruction. 45 days later, OpenAI launches DALL-E. All those companies are probably out of business now, right? It's not, and that's my point. So like, how do you really know if you have something that is going to be around a year from now and not just absorbed by the ecosystem that is the platform.
I still think my answer about the integration and the middleware where things are already running, because big companies, they're not going to change stuff just because something new comes out. Like they won't change something that they made they made the decision, they coded this stuff 5 years ago on this platform and did it on this. To do the full migration over, it takes years for them.
I think that proves my point, though, because then what you're talking about is the companies that are going to be successful are the future sales forces of the world, right? That they've because there's nothing special about what they're doing. Any other company that's a CRM can do the same exact shit. It's just that they've built the ecosystem, they have the customers, and the customers have become so stuck and sticky with the way that they do it that their data is already integrated in. And it's like Apple versus Droid, right? You're becoming stuck. I 100% get you on that. And that was my first point, is the only ones that are going to be successful are the ones who are spending hundreds of $millions on marketing, which is what Salesforce has done.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think you're not entirely wrong. I think there's definitely going to be outliers. I think companies like
there will. Of course there will. Of course there will. It's a lottery system. You're gonna have those unicorns. My point is, how is it possible to predict which ones they are right now? How is that possible?
Because no, it's impossible to predict which ones they are right now. But I actually don't.
What everybody's doing in AI. They're unicorn hunting right now.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, but the thing is, so they're unicorn hunting, and you actually don't really need as big of a marketing team as much as you need a good sales team. Because remember, like what drives revenue isn't because you're talking. I know you're looking at it more as because you mentioned Google, right? You talked about search engine, so you're thinking about it as it's like everyday users like you and I, smaller companies, that kind of stuff. When I look at the big companies,
enterprise, you're looking at enterprise solutions.
Yeah, enterprise solutions. Like those are you want to talk about what's going to be sticky are enterprise solution based AI systems. Where
that's fine. That's fine. You can replace spending $100 million on marketing for $100 million on sales. It's $100 million on sales and marketing. It's business development. It's promotion. There's whether we're doing inbound or outbound sales versus marketing. The point is, it's not in product development where the money's going. It's going to be on customer acquisition.
Mm-hmm. No, you're 100% right. That's what makes and breaks a lot of companies.
Totally.
It's like getting the right sales, getting the right, because if you can't keep making sales, you can't stay afloat, all this other stuff, you can't pay your investors back, and it's a bad situation. But
so with that said, then, because you and I have spent so many days and nights talking about should we launch one of these AI companies, that's what's been holding me back, right? That's kind of the way I initially brought the question up. But how then, do you spend more time on the product or the go-to-market strategy? And then what would you focus on?
I think you focus on the problem that you're solving. That's like the biggest thing, because if you go to investors and you say that you're just solving, I make it easier to do this, on Zapier, we use AI to help you make automations on your system, your backend systems, right, like that. So it's like the AI just makes it a little bit easier for them to do what you could already do type stuff, right? Those will be the ones that are kind of you might get some investors, but you're not going to go enterprise. You need to do
the UX.
Huh?
I think it's the UX.
The UX.
The user experience, I think, is what's going to dictate it. Because there's so many of these where it's like, yeah, it's AI, and yeah, it solves the problem really well. But it's like, was it 3 clicks to solve the problem? Was it 1 click to solve the problem?
Mm-hmm. Like how soon can we get to the point where I don't even have to copy and paste text for the AI to solve the problem for me? Can the AI just be constantly monitoring my screen when I do a voice activation, hey AI, tell me what this is.
And Openai is going to be the first one to do that. Not compared to DeepSeek or the other, right? Any of them could be first, but my point is, one of them have to be first. Then all the plugins do it.
Or you become the an
That's
AI.
the thing. See, but that's the thing. That's where that's what I don't trust. What you just said, because I've seen it too many times now in a row where I saw all these companies. I even downloaded half those apps and used them for a month, and then OpenAI was like, "No, here's." And it's the same shit that Apple used to do, right? We always were like, okay, Droid came out with this better phone and it does all these cool things that Apple doesn't do, but it didn't quite do it perfectly, and there was a little bit of problems. And then when Apple came out with it, it always was perfect. It just worked. One click, it just always fucking works, right? That's the difference.
No, you're absolutely right.
Bordy, like when we called Bordy like the other day, right? He just answers and he works. I haven't had a call with him since then, but he sent me 2 leads on email. It just works, right? So like OpenAI is doing the same thing now, where they're integrating a phone number that you can. It's integrated. You probably saw this, but OpenAI integrated with WhatsApp, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So now there's like a human element. You can like call OpenAI and text it and like. So it's like all they have to do is like open up one piece of their software, and they have just destroyed 50 companies that spent 50
a lot of time and money on those
That's
things.
my point. That's what scares me about launching one of these companies, unless we're doing something that is like not easy for OpenAI just to be like, yeah, we can just release that in 2 seconds.
Right. Or something that isn't a high priority for them. Because they have a list probably of like 100 different ideas, right? Well, these like bottom 20, they're never going to get to, because their priorities will change, and there's going to be new bigger priorities that come to the top. So there's ones that are like down here are like
tens of thousands of companies went broke doing that with the app store with Apple, saying we're going to do it. And then Apple came out and did it better. And most of them were like, well, we'll do it first because Apple, it's so far down the priority list, and then Apple will just acquire us. And how many times did that actually happen? Fucking twice. No, it didn't.
Oh, no.
No, it didn't. It did not happen very much at all. Like, give me the examples. They acquired Beats.
Mm-hmm.
That was a hardware play. So that's not really a good example. Like, of the software,
I don't know enough.
There's only one I can think of, and it was Siri.
Yeah, no, you're right about that too.
Siri was the only app.
I think it's the same reason why people like Tesla so much, right? I think Tesla follows the Apple train, very, very similarly.
Yeah.
So an OpenAI is like the Apple of this. So how do you get on board?
Exactly.
But the Apple has an app marketplace where a lot of people make a lot of money doing that. A lot of good businesses on there.
Right. But my point there is it's not a lot of people that make a lot of money. The highest grossing apps are all owned by the companies that are in bed with Apple, Meta, Google, or not in bed or a direct competitor, right? Like they're behind the curtain. Most of the apps that were successful, Apple released their own version of. And then you have you have thousands of apps where people are like mom and pop millionaires. But not unicorns.
No, you're right. So
which I have no problem being a mom and pop millionaire, right? By the way, right? That's what I aspire towards.
Yes.
But that's not investable. And that's ultimately what we talk about, because we're talking to founders and startups about like launching disruptive products and ultimately trying to be successful doing it.
You're right. Do you just came to mind now? Do you think that people are still confused about AI, and so they just invest in these random AI companies because they just don't know any better? It's like 100%. There's not enough information out there, or the people that are investing are in their late 60s and 70s, and they just like don't.
Do I believe that there's dumb money going to AI?
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. But yes. However, I think that window is closing very quickly. I think for the last year, there's been lots of millions of dollars of dumb money thrown into AI.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to come correct, I think now.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think people have gotten enough wind of it to kind of see through the bullshit.
Yeah.
And be able to go even farther with it. But
Yeah.
so then the new idea is what is the unicorn? What could it be? You know, I still think one that I mentioned to you before would still be pretty decent on that. But like, I think it's going to have to be like,
I don't remember which one you're referencing, but is it if you say it if you want, but if you don't want to, is it one that OpenAI could just release something and we'd be screwed?
I don't think so, because there would have to be large integrations and stuff like that within a business, right? And if you,
I think you're right. I think I think
like if you can create a service that OpenAI is not going to just come out with some sort of service.
It has to fill a specific market need that saves or creates a lot of money.
Integrate that business's data into your system, so that way you become sticky.
Yeah, so something like, one I was thinking about yesterday, the day before, was like in the financial industry.
Mm-hmm.
Most financial advisors, an AI would probably be as good or better than.
Yeah.
And I feel like you could definitely have like the AI, like my financial advisor AI.ai, that is tied in with, and you have like, you got like 4 or 5 Wall Street people backing you that like have been monitoring it, and they're just, basically that's it. All you're doing then is putting a human interface to the data that already exists at Goldman.
Honestly, that's not very dissimilar to the idea I told you about last time on like the mortgages stuff. A little similar to an extent, but it's around finances. It's about managing people's finances in an easier way that is easily changeable. Whereas today, like, it's hard to change your financial situation very quickly because you're locked into certain things, or everything's managed on different platforms, right? Yeah. That too. So so integrating those platforms together into a single system by using AI to just take in the data that you give it access to between different companies makes things super, super simple.
Like actual Zapier with AI, like it automatically could build the workflows for you, and
the operators that are coming out now are the ones that are just automatically going out to find that information.
I think OpenAI is going to do that. Like, I think Operator is the first step towards that.
I think so too.
And that's why, frankly, like even in my own business, I'm not really. I'm heavily deciding. Okay, for the past 30 days, maybe 60, and probably for the next 30 days, I'm going to be making a major decision on should I hire somebody right now to actually build out more AI workflows for me, because we're scaling in 2 of the businesses right now and I need more people, but it's like I need to bring on a couple more clients to pay for those people, or can I hire somebody for a month and build out some more workflows with some more AI and get like 70% of the effect. And that's like a real decision that I'm making right now. But I'm also thinking, like, if I can just hold off another month or 2, OpenAI may launch that themselves, just based on how fast it's going. I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't wait on that. I wouldn't let your decision. I think waiting and seeing is probably the worst decision a CEO can make most of the time. Just FYI. It's like, no, you should be taking action and be prepared if that thing happens. Right. And because you'll have the plan to pivot. Right. So I think that's like the better response, but you got to take action in the meantime.
I would agree with you in most cases. Where I would tell a CEO that action, that sitting back and waiting is good, is when that action is spending money or specifically hiring somebody.
Right.
Because that to me, like, somebody told me once, I guess a mentor or a boss or somebody, but basically they were like, kind of my motto is hire slowly, fire fast. You when you hire somebody, you're making a huge commitment then to pay that person, not just this month, but potentially in perpetuity, right? So you're right. Like, those are $100,000, $1 million type decisions that you're committing. So, holding off a month in case somebody is going to launch a product that I might be able to do the same thing for $25 a month. That's, to me, and only because I've already been burned on it 3 times in the last 90 days. Like, literally, I made a decision, and then OpenAI did something, and I was like, well, shit, I should not have spent that money, because here I now have it for free with my pro account that I'm already paying for.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, it's definitely going fast. Definitely moving fast. Well, anyway, that was one topic that we ended up talking about forever.
More AI, fun.
But
we got into some quantum stuff earlier, which was good too. But
no, I think that's probably good for today, though. Anything else that we wanted to hit on?
Now, let me finish these slides and stuff, and then your guy can do a once through with them, like you said. Just like make it, give him a hey, glamify these, whatever.
Yeah.
Let's make sure everything's neat and organized and well highlighted and easily legible, that kind of stuff. So, which it might honestly already be at that point, but so I did work on it.
So. He'll do some stuff, but yeah, cool. All right, well, let me know when you got it done, and then we'll go from there. And then the next major 2 things are the we got to make a final decision on if we're going to do that event, but I'm leaning towards a no now.
Did they get back to you to
Nate told me he could not help us out with that.
Oh, so you would have to get the $1,000 registration for a 30-minute presentation
plus hotel, flight. I just, like, as a startup, I don't think we should we can't justify it. I mean, that's cool. That's a cool opportunity, but it'll be there next year.
Yeah.
Well. So
I agree. No, I think pushing it out to like maybe next year, because the people that are going there aren't going to be like investors either.
No, they're not. They're scientists and stuff. So they would ask questions that we don't even have the answers to yet. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. I think we just call that one. It's great that we got in. We should say thank you to who brought us in, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just, for us, we're a little too early in the stage to be doing that, because ideally, like, we'll have a CTO that, I mean, I know you sent me like our next CTO thing. I was like, I don't know about that. We've got something pretty specific. This is what I mean by, like, I don't think AI, like, for new discovery stuff like this.
This is where I disagree.
I don't know if like the AI will do.
I think the AI would do a better job than some CTOs. Some CTOs are
unless we have. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, we either don't need one because we have technical experts, right?
Yeah, but all these technical experts that have fucking 30 years of doing it their way. Most of I've worked with thousands of them.
Mm.
Almost all of them are super fucking like laser, locked in on their way to approach it, and it's really hard to open their minds to other scientific approaches, especially if the shit is theoretical.
Dude, you don't want to tell me about like that with like CTO, different CTO like that. It's like when I'm doing like some IBM stuff, it's like like just the fact, like, they're like, oh yeah, I've always used Oracle and it's always worked out well for me.
Yeah.
So we're switching everything to Oracle. Like, that is literally what like C-level execs do nowadays.
That's why Salesforce is what it is, even though it is the worst of all the CRMs.
It's so bad. It's so bad. Oh my God. I can't stand it. Like, it's not good. But it's, you know why they're sticky? It's because of that, but that's how they got in early, right? They were like one of the decent ones early on, and they also had those connections. But the other thing is the integration. They've made themselves so sticky by integrating into so many platforms and making integration possible.
Yeah.
Right. That's why, like, the most valuable AI companies that are out today are the integration and middleware type AI companies.
You're 100% right about that. And it's definitely something we have to consider.
It's connecting enterprise AI systems to work with other enterprise-based software.
Right.
If you just enable like the most advanced ChatGPT features to be enabled on, I'm just going to say, like, Z systems, like it's a very obscure technical market. Okay, how about on x86 boxes? You unlock the capability for it to work there. Okay, now you sell that software capability to a company that's trying to do AI.
Yeah.
That's night and day. It's like, oh, we make we make this faster. Even if it was like we have a software that transmits your data to AI at a 2x rate. That alone might save on the cost of processing power for AI, and you could just have that attached to every single AI deal out there. Basically, a compression algorithm for AI data consumption.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So like those are like the areas.
I agree with you. I think those are the opportunities. I think you've definitely named a couple of good ones. So anybody that can that goes ahead and checks out this video, likes, subscribes, or shares is going to get a chance to get like 5 really good startup ideas.
There you go.
for free right there. So there you go.
And if you're interested and you know how to do all that, you let us know.
Exactly, because we actually want to pursue some of these companies. We are just short on bandwidth.
No, that's actually true. So it's like it's getting the right people, process and systems. That's usually the way you build a successful company.
But yeah, let them. So that please do connect with us. So I'm Startup with Steven on Instagram and YouTube. Where can they find you, Brendon?
You can find me at brendon.walker.us. Or actually it's underscore, sorry. So Brendon _Walker US.
Okay. Very good. Very good. All right. Well, we'll cut it there, and we'll talk to you next time.